Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to Dreamworks Switch to Life. And today we're going to be discussing every single Dreamworks project that we know Dreamworks is coming out with. And please note that these are confirmed projects. If you want potential projects, I left a link down below in the description. But without further ado, let's start the video. Our first movie on the list is The Wild Robot, which will be DreamWorks' 51st movie, as well as the last film that DreamWorks will make fully in-house. What that means is that all of the stuff after this will either fall into outsourced movies or mainline movies, and outsourced means that they'll pass off the animation to a completely different studio, while DreamWorks themselves will handle mainline films alongside a partnership with Sony Pictures Imageworks, where Sony takes care of animating a small portion of the movie, like about 20 minutes worth, while also providing 50% of the animation assets. And those percentages could change in the future, but with that in mind, that means that The Wild Robot will be the last DreamWorks movie to be made fully in-house. The film has a release date of September 27th, 2024, and just recently had a panel at San Diego Comic-Con where a lot about the movie was revealed, including the fact that Mark Hamill is actually going to be playing a large bear named Thorn. We knew Mark Hamill was involved in the movie before, but we had no idea who his character would be. Glad to know that he's going to play a bear now. But from what was shown off at the panel, it's clear that there's a lot of people excited for this movie, and even the critics who actually got an early screening of this movie have said that this is probably the best DreamWorks movie ever. I'm gonna wait to see it for myself before I actually agree with that statement, but I'm very excited for this movie anyway. But with that in mind, I think it's time to move on to the next film, which is Dogman, a spin-off of the Captain Underpants franchise. The film has a release date of January 31st, 2025, and it's going to be an outsourced movie. I don't actually know who is going to be animating it, but if I had to guess, I would say Micros Animation, since they handled the animation for the first Captain Underpants movie. The next film that I want to talk about is not actually made by DreamWorks Animation, but it is based off one of their properties. That, of course, is the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake, which I'm actually really excited for. I'm a big-time How to Train Your Dragon fan, and, well, we haven't really gotten a lot of news aside from the fact that we know who is in the cast, and we know that filming for the movie has wrapped up, so now it's in post-production and probably in the CGI animation for the dragons, which I'm really excited to see what these dragons look like in live action. And for those of you who are wondering if it's going to be a shot-for-shot remake of the animated movie, no. It's going to be something that's completely different from both the books and the movies. So with that in mind, I'm really excited to see where this story goes. The next film that we have on the list is The Bad Guys 2, which has a release date of August 1st, 2025, and will be DreamWorks' first mainline movie that will be made in collaboration with Sony Pictures Imageworks. I'm actually very excited to see this movie, and it would probably be my most anticipated sequel for the future right now, if it weren't for our next movie, Shrek 5. Yep, you heard me right. Shrek 5 is happening. And, well, last month when I did another one of these videos, I said that Eddie Murphy said the film could be ready for release by 2025. Well, now that we actually have a release date of July 1st, 2026. So, sorry about that misinformation, but honestly, I'm really excited to see this movie. We don't really know much about it, aside from the fact that it will have the return of Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. Yes, Cameron Diaz is coming out of retirement for this film. And while it's not really confirmed, I think it's safe to say that we'll also see the return of the voice actors and characters for Puss in Boots, Kitty Softpaws, and Perrito from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I think will actually have the same animation style as Shrek 5. Not to mention that Eddie Murphy said that in conjunction with Shrek 5, there's also going to be a Donkey movie where Donkey is the main character. That movie hasn't even begun production, and it won't until Shrek 5 hits theaters. But until then, that's another project that we have to be excited for that's in the early stages of development. But our final confirmed movie is not really a film that I'm that excited for, and that is Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, which is actually a movie that's aimed at preschool audiences and will be Dreamworks' first live-action animation hybrid, which obviously means that this film is going to be outsourced. If I had to guess, I would say that it's most likely going to be made by the same people who make the TV show Gabby's Dollhouse, but it's going to be given a higher budget, which would honestly help with the animation and other stuff. The film currently has a release date of September 26, 2025, and it's the final movie that we know is actually coming. Everything else is in the stages of development, so it's time to move on to our TV shows. And the first show that we have to talk about is Gabby's Dollhouse. Of course it is. And the good news is that Gabby's Dollhouse already has a release date for its 10th season, that of course being August 5th, 2024, less than a week away from the time I'm posting this video. And with that in mind, season 10 will definitely not be the final season. We know for a fact that Netflix decided to order 100 episodes for this series, considering that the show only has 64 right now, and it's highly likely that it will only get in the 70s by the time season 10 releases. I think it's safe to say that we'll most likely get a seasons 11, 12, and possibly even 13, and maybe more after that. But to keep the show fresh, they're going to introduce us to a brand new Gabby cat in season 10, that of course being Marty the Party Cat. And there's even a tour called Party with Marty, where Gabby's Dollhouse is going around the country and you can attend special events depending on locations. Feel free to pause the video if you want to see when Gabby is coming to your area. But now it's time for the next TV show, which is of course Jurassic World Chaos Theory. And great news, we actually have a release date for the second season. That, of course, is October 17th, 2024. Yeah, it seems like October is going to be a pretty big month for Dreamworks, which makes sense. October, Halloween, and there's a bunch of stuff that Dreamworks has in the pipeline, including a preschool show called Mighty MonsterWheelies, which will actually be about monster trucks. You know, like vehicles that happen to look like monsters. That's pretty much what the premise of the show is. And it is a preschool series, so I'm not too excited for it. But at the same time, we do know that this series is coming in October 2024. Sadly, that's pretty much all we know about when TV shows will be releasing. Aside from that, it's mostly just speculation. So let's speculate about our next show, Go Dog Go, which I do believe will most likely get a season 5, which will have a total of 12 episodes. Unfortunately, I have no idea when season 5 will be released, and if I really had to nail down a date, I would say either September or November, but I'm just saying that because Dreamworks already has too many shows coming to Netflix in October. And then there's our next shows, which is Dewdrop Diaries and Not Quite Narwhal. Both shows have managed to reach an equivalent of 26 episodes, meaning that they've finished their production phases, and now it's up to viewership as to whether or not we get a season 3 for either show. And, well, I don't actually know if we're getting a season 3, but the fact that Netflix hasn't canceled the series yet makes me think that there could be a season 3 in development. And, well, I don't really know when we'll be getting a renewal for either show. But I do believe that both shows will be renewed eventually. That's it for TV shows on Netflix, but I still want to talk about the film side of things, where we have Kung Fu Panda 4, which has finished its theatrical run and is currently streaming on Peacock. But if you don't feel like subscribing to Peacock, you can wait till the movie comes to Netflix on October 21st, 2024. But speaking of Peacock, let's talk about their TV shows. Okay, so I lied. Turns out that Peacock only has one TV show that is currently going right now, as the other TV show, Megamind Rules, has just been confirmed that it's over. It's finished, kaput. The show was only ever intended to get one season with a total of 16 episodes, and now they're all out there. So Megamind Rules is officially over, and because of that, the only TV show that Peacock has that still has a chance at renewal is Fright Crew. Fright Crew currently has 2 seasons with a total of 20 episodes, meaning that it's at the end of its production phase. Now it's up to viewership as to whether or not the show actually gets renewed for season 3, which, to be honest, it's very clear that the show's creators did intend for the show to get a season 3, especially when you consider that season 2 did leave off on a minor cliffhanger. So because of that, I think that we are going to get a season 3, and I also think that because the show is actually really good and there's just a lot of potential there. Unfortunately, I don't know when we're going to get season 3, but if I had to guess, October. I mean, is there really any reason to explain why? Speaking of October, we do know that Peacock did order Dreamworks to give them a live-action Casper the Friendly Ghost horror series, which I think could actually be really good. The only problem is we still don't know when it's going to release. We don't even have a release slate. In my opinion, it could come out in October 2024, but honestly, I think that it's safe to say that it could also be delayed until 2025. And now it's on to our final streaming service, which is Apple TV Plus. And currently there's only one show, which is Curses. I haven't actually seen this show, even though I want to, so I don't really know how it ends. But I think that it might have actually been a mini-series, so there's only ever going to be one season with 10 episodes. I don't know if that's actually the case or not, but the way I see it, we haven't had any announcements for season 2 whatsoever. So I think that it's possible that Curses could already be over, but since there's no official confirmation, I'm just going to wait until the 1-year anniversary in October. If we don't get season 2 by then, well, that's either wasted potential or season 2 was just never supposed to happen to begin with. But one show that we know is coming to Apple TV Plus is Brick, and we know that the first season is going to have 13 episodes. Unfortunately, we still don't know when the series is actually going to be released. It could be later this year, or it could be 2025, or maybe even further in the future. We don't actually know. But now that we're finally done with all the TV shows, it's time to move on to something else. That, of course, being video games. And honestly, there's only a couple that I really want to mention, and that is Shrek Swamp Tycoon, which is actually a Roblox game that you can go and play for free right now. I've actually been playing it for quite some time, and it's really fun. And I just need to point out that this is actually an official game that's developed by Dreamworks Animation, and it's not their only one, because it turns out that there's actually a second Roblox game in the beta testing stage right now called Kung Fu Panda Hero Showdown. I don't actually know when this is going to be released, but considering that it's being beta tested, which means that you have to pay real money to play it, you could actually go and do that right now. But now we'll move away from video games to discuss art books, which is basically just a bunch of concept art that was used to help make the various Dreamworks movies. We have the Art of the Wild Robot coming out on September 10th, 2024. Art of Dreamworks Animation 30-year anniversary, which is actually really good, and I think it's going to be really big considering that it will have concept art from both the movies and the TV shows that Dreamworks has put out for the past 30 years. And the final art book is The Art of Dogman, which is actually going to be released on December 10th, 2024, over a month before the actual film releases. And the final thing to discuss is a theme park called How to Train Your Dragon: The Isle of Berk, which is going to be part of Universal Epic Universe in Universal Orlando Studios, and it will be open to the public at some point in 2025. Make sure to check out the link down below if you're interested in what it's about. But with that, that's every single project that we know DreamWorks is making. So to recap, we have Shrek Swamp Tycoon, a Roblox game that you can play right now for free. Gabby's Dollhouse Season 10 coming out on August 5th, 2024. Then we'll have The Art of DreamWorks Animation 30-year anniversary coming out on September 10th, 2024. And the same day as The Art of the Wild Robot, which will be followed immediately by The Wild Robot on September 27th, 2024. Then we come to October, where we have the release for Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 2 on Netflix on October 17th, 2024. Then we have Kung Fu Panda 4, which will start streaming on Netflix on October 21st, 2024. This will be followed by The Art of Dogman, which will come out on December 10th, 2024, before being followed by the actual movie Dogman, which will come out on January 31st, 2025. This will be followed by the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake, which will come out on June 13th, 2025. And then we have The Bad Guys 2, which will come out on August 1st, 2025, before we get Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, which will come out on September 26th, 2025. And the final announcement is Shrek 5, which will be coming out on July 1st, 2026. And with that, that's every single project that we know DreamWorks is coming out with in the future. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can keep up to date on all things DreamWorks, and tell me what project that you are most excited for, as well as some of your fan theories for any of them. But above all else, make sure that you're staying safe out there, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.
Aggression detected. I see your problem.